Okay, sweet. So we're going to talk about styled components. And I'm going to start with just showing you, this is the styled components website, and they have great documentation here. If you just want like to remember some of it or like get started, there's these basics, all this, and tells you like why it's awesome, how to install, and then gives you like a few ideas here, but that's what we're not going to go through this exactly, but that's what we're going to be doing here. So a couple of things that I like about styled components is that it makes the code easier to read, and you'll see that it's like a lot cleaner. You can pass in properties, like if you want something to be a button, but you want it to be the primary button, that can act differently than just button. Like you can feed it extra attributes. And then it also creates a unique class name, and that's good for just not getting stuff mixed up. So for this project, I've already run like create React app. I've added the styled components. I added React Router DOM for navigation. So I also used app.js to like route everything. I'm just letting you know how I've set this up. And I do already have like all my files here. So I'm going to start with the Nav Bar so that we can see what's going on here. And let's see. So we're going to need, this is the Nav Bar, so we're going to need to route things. So I'm just going to start by importing link React Router DOM. And then we'll just create some links here. My main page is going to be styled components. And if we have time, I'll get to the other ones as well, to CSS and Semantic. But let's do this. So we've got a link to CSS, a link to Semantic. Okay. Oh, right. We need a fragment or a div or something. There we go. Okay, so they're all here. You can barely see them. They're up at the top, but there are links. So I want to start out with creating a background color for the nav bars so that we can actually see those links. And this is where we're going to get into styled components. So we're going to need to import styled from styled components. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call it my nav bar. And so you do styled dot whatever it is that you're going to want to style. And for this, I probably would have just done a div. So I'm just going to do style.div. And I'm going to go ahead and just copy and paste some code in here because you guys don't need to watch me write up a bunch of CSS. But so I just threw in like, I want it centered. I want some margins and a background color so we can see. I just saved it and I was like, why isn't it showing up? You have to put it down here. I do that all the time with styled components. I make it and then I forget you actually have to, put it in here. There we go. So now we've got a background and we can see our links, but the links look horrible. So I will create another styled component, but what's great about this is that you can actually style this link right here. And so we can do a styled link. And then when you're doing another, does this count as a component? When you're doing something else, one of these green things, you just put them in parentheses. So we'll put it like that. And then grab some styling. I just wanted to have some padding because they're all like squished together and I don't like the underline, so I'm taking that away and just giving it a better color. Ooh, check this out, you guys. So push Option, if you push Option, maybe some of you know this, you can click in front of a bunch of different things. And then I can just put styled link and it's done. That's fun, huh? All right, so there they are. Looks better. It's actually looking great, if you ask me. So we're gonna move on to our main page. It does actually say styled components right there, but I wanted the whole background to be black, so I did that in the app.js. All right, so in this one, we would probably, so I want like a header, I want a couple of buttons, and I think I want some text. So I'm gonna start with, well, we need to import styled. First of all, and I'll just start with this title. So I want this to be a title. So I'll create a styled component called title. It would have been an H1, so that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. This I'll just keep really simple. So I'm going to do font size of that and color. And there we go. So that looks good, but it's all squished up to the edge here. So what I want is a container that contains the entire page. And that way I can give it some padding and it won't look like that. So I'll just start and call it, I'll just call it main wrapper. And we'll wrap up this page. You see already how like it's so much more clear than having like div H1. I mean, you know what those things mean, but having the words there, it just makes it quicker to like comprehend what's going on here. That's just one of the things I really like about it. Okay, so for this one, probably would have just been a div. So let's do that. And I'll just put padding on here. That's really all I wanted it for. But you know, later if we decide something more interesting could happen with that, we can do that. So that gives us some good padding, gets it away from the edge. But I want, what else do I want here? I want some text. I'm gonna put it in, let's see, I'll probably put it in a section. And then I'll call this content. So this is where my text will be. And I'm gonna copy and paste in some text. There we go. Now we have content. Let's start with this section. Feel free to ask questions, by the way, just stop me if you have them. Let's see. All right, and then for this section, I'll just do like a margin. Oh yeah, and then I gotta do content too. So don't get mad at me. Let's do and font size. You can do it. There we go. All right, so this is a good start. This is like a very basic way to use styled components, but it does get more interesting than this. So I'm going to create a button here. Am I frozen? Can you guys hear me? Okay, as long as you can hear me, it's fine. I think my face is frozen.
Yeah, your face is frozen, but we can hear you.
All right, cool. So with the button, I'm not going to do this on this page. I'm going to create its own page because it's going to be a little more complicated. And we'll go over to that. Oh yeah, it's gonna be mad about that. That's fine. Okay, so we've already got React, but we're gonna need styled components imported. Okay, so this is where it gets cool. This has props of children. So like whatever is inside the button here is its children, right? So just put button and as soon as I get this exported, it will work again. Let's just return that. Yeah, I think so. Oh no, what I want to do is I want to do a button and then put the children in it so that whatever is inside that button on the other page will be rendered here. Okay. It does not contain a default. Oh, right. Mixing that all up.
I think it's export default, not default export.
Thank you. I said it that way over here. It contains a default export. Love it. Okay. So it should be good now. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, here's our button, and it says button because it says button right here. And that is the children of this button. So now I want it to be styled. So we're going to make it a styled button. And that just means we'll come up here, create a styled component. Feels very redundant, style button. And I'm going to copy paste a bunch of this. So it's just got margin, padding, font size, just making it look decent. All right, so just made it a little bigger. I also want a second button. Let's make a second button. This first one's going to be our primary button because like earlier I said you can pass in, stop it. You can pass in, what do you call this? Like an attribute or props? I don't know. You can pass it stuff. And then in here, you just pull it out and give it to this. So it's just connecting these things so that way, one of the really fun things about styled components is that you can put JS JavaScript in it. And so here what we can do is if I want the background color on my primary buttons to be different than the other buttons, all it takes is for me to just do a little bit of this like interpolation. So go background. And we'll just do, hey, with props, if there's a props.primary, then actually for this one, I want this background to just be default if it doesn't say primary. So for this one, I'm just going to say and. So only if there's a primary will it make it this color. See if that works. Nope, did something wrong. Hold on a second. Oh, this needs to be in parentheses. See if that did it. Yep. All right, so now my primary button has a background, but my regular button does not. I want to change the text on both of these though, the color. So one thing I accidentally kept doing as I was like playing around with this was just to start writing on this line, but it really messes it up if you don't put that semicolon there. Because it's like, this is JavaScript and it's, you like traditionally you should put that there anyway, but it doesn't usually mess anything up if you don't, but it will here. So then I want these to be two different colors. So if it says primary, I want it to be this gray color. And otherwise, I want it to be this really dark greenish color. So that was kind of subtle, but they both changed and they are different colors. Just to show, I'm going to make this red. There we go. But I like the subtle difference. So I'm going to turn it back to green. So that's great. Now, when we hover over them, nothing's happening. And I would like that. Oh, we didn't do hover over here either. But we'll do hover here. So semicolon. You can just do and hover to add that onto this. And then again, you're going to do props. There's primary. I want it to go slightly lighter yellow. I have all these memorized in case you guys were wondering. I memorized all the hex colors. That sounds more like a joke when you can see my face. All right. Whoa, what did I just click? And we're missing what? Why is this angry with me? Oh, I know. Wait, no, that is supposed to be there. Maybe it'll tell us. Does it not like that it says white?
I think it's, do you need like props equals props dot primary instead of props question mark props dot primary?
That is right. Thank you. Needed an arrow there. All right. Okay, so now those highlight just a little bit when I hover over them. Is this new information? Are you guys, is this helpful?
Yeah, this is helpful.
Okay,
I have
cool.
no idea about the primary stuff. And you blew my mind when you like highlighted multiple things and added in front of them.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear. When we were doing our final project, we ended up, because we hadn't gotten all on the same page about styling, we ended up doing like styled components and semantic and CSS, kind of like all over the place, and then tried in the end to bring it together and just have CSS. But I didn't know, like I wasn't as familiar with the styled components because it all kind of got meshed together in my head as we were going along because we talked about them so fast.
That's like what's happening for me. Everything's kind of, because we all learned it on the same day. So now I can't really remember like how to differentiate between all the different ways to style.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's what I was hoping to do with this is kind of give you a deeper look at styled components, but then also compare that to CSS and semantics. So let me think. I think there's one more thing I want to show you with styled components. I'm going to make, I want to have a second set of content. And I want the text to be red. So let's do that. So what I could do is you can like style an already styled component. I showed you that with link, but I'm going to do this where it's going to take all of the styling of content. No, wait. But then add, like, change it a little. So I want this to be red. So I'll probably just, I think that's all I want is to change the color to red. And then I can just say red content here. And that will give me the same like margins and stuff, but now it's red. So anywhere on my site where I want it to be red, I can just use red content. Well, that's not exactly true because I have them all in here. I would have to export them from here into the other page. But one thing that I did was take all of these and put them, just for organization, I put them in this styled C and just told it to export. And then you can just here do import, whoops, and then just bring in the ones you want. Yeah, buttons coming in from somewhere else. So we'll just pull these ones out. this, and it was styled C. Shouldn't change anything except that I didn't import styled components into this. It's like, what am I doing? Okay, there we go. So everything's the same. But now if I had other pages where I wanted to do the same thing, where I was just like we do with Semantic UI, where you just pull out the certain things that you want from the library, you can do that here too, where you're just like, okay, these are the ones I want for this page, and it'll bring those in. I think I had something else I wanted to show you with the red. Oh yeah. So you could also, instead of doing red content, you could leave it at content, but just have it so that you can pass it the color red. And then in here with content, you can do color. And if there's a props that's red, then the color will be red. And otherwise it can be, I think what I had it was that. And something went wrong. There it is. See, told you I forget that all the time. So yeah, you wouldn't even need this whole red content if you wanted to just make it so that you could throw in that attribute there of red. I haven't tried it, but I assume you could do something here. You'd have to Google it with like an if statement, or no, like a when or something. I would Google that. I'd be interested in that to see like if there are other colors, like if you could do a whole list of them. But anyway, for now, that's great. So now I wanted to take this and just create it again, but in CSS so that you see the difference here. And since I don't have those styled components in here anymore, I don't need that. So here's our CSS page. It's got, I think it has that, yeah. It's got that title. Okay, so what we want to do here is make it look just like this, but with CSS. So let's just kind of use the same wording too, so that it's easier to see. So this would be our main, I didn't call it content, but I call it wrapper, main wrapper. And then inside of that, we would have an H1 title, which has this in it. And then what else do we have over here? So we've got a wrapper, title, a couple of buttons. That's a lot of buttons. And then I think we had a section, whoops, and some content, which would be a div, probably. Okay, so we have the setup the same. Now we just need to give these all class names. So this is, I don't know, what do we want to give all these names? Well, this one we wanted to be our primary button. And this one was just a button. Since there's not a way to do JavaScript where you say this or that, like this is probably the way that you would have to do it. And then the section, call it section, And our content, and then grab our content. So we have something in there. And make sure this doesn't break. Okay, so everything should be here. Yeah, it's all there. It's just not styled. So for this, we would have to get into our CSS, called it the CSS.css, and take all of these things and style them. So I already did this, like I told you. And I want to make sure we get through enough info. So I'm just going to throw this together. I just took all of these stylings straight from like the, hey, let me move this bar, it's in the way. From here. So I'm doing these exact same styling, so it should turn out looking the same. And let's do, so we'll do the title. We want to change the title color and everything. Is this not updating? Or, oh, we did not import it. You got to import the style sheet. So we'll want to do this up here. Import. And there we go. Okay, so we've got the same kind of thing going. I mean, it has the exact same styling as far as the title goes, because we've got it in there, and the margin or padding on that side. So yeah, let's just keep going with this. And I'm going to go back and forth between these two so that you guys can see, like, this is what the styled component looks like. This is what it looks like in CSS. Styled CSS. Okay. And what did I have next? The button. So that should do our buttons in general. And then to do our specific button, we gave it the class name of primary button. Wait, hold on. I don't think this needs a class name of button because I just had it style just button, like any buttons. Yeah. Okay, and then we just need to label the primary button because that's what we want to be different. And then also I want it to change when I hover over it. That this one doesn't change. I wonder if it will. Let's see, how do we do that? We do okay, there we go. So now they're both lighting up when you hover over them. I guess I should have made it more obvious to see, but you guys can see that change, right? It's changing when you hover. Okay, so then we've got the section and the content, and this should make our content show up. There it is. And then, oh, if we wanted that content to, if we wanted the next section of content to be red, which I didn't make, we would just have to name it red content. I don't think we can, I'm trying to think if there's any way to piggyback off of this. Not that I know of. Okay, so we'll just do red content here. And then we've got our red content. So this is what our CSS file looks like. this is what it looks like in the page. And then you've got, this is what it looks like as styled components. And there are your styled components. So, and they look the same. That's as far as I made it with when I was like prepping and thinking about it and stuff. But let's see what we can do with semantic. Semantic is harder to customize. It's fun because you could just throw up a bunch of stuff and then it's there. But if you want it to look a certain way, it's more challenging. So let's go ahead and add Semantic Ui React. And we will get going on this. So I think it'll let me, yeah, Semantic Ui React. Let's see, what would we do as the, be a section? I don't know. We can go to Semantic UI and kind of check out what they've got there, but let's just look at this. So okay, so I have it on this black background. So wait, did that update? That stuff away. There we go. Okay, but I think with semantic, you just kind of start to get familiar with what kind of things you can have it do. And usually you can do an inverted and it will change the color. Nope, that's not gonna work. Okay. Well, let's go. Oh, sometimes you can do color equals white. Nope, okay. So what you want to do is go over to React Semantic UI and go to header. Got headers. Have you guys been here much to this site?
We've been playing with it a little bit, kind of in class on our own, not like a ton. But I think if you're trying to find props, you can go up to the top of header, and there's usually like, yeah, and that can usually tell you what you can send in.
Okay, so white was just not an option. Maybe that's not how you do it either. Does it not have to be? No.
Maybe try scrolling down to like where you're looking at the big ones and seeing how they send in that prop.
Wait, you're talking about?
Yeah, I was just making sure that the format, I mean, it looks like you were doing it right where every color equals, but.
The only difference I'm seeing is this. That shouldn't make a difference. Oh, he's importing section from the wrong thing. Doesn't this have sections? Segment. Maybe that's what I meant. You know what? Let's not worry about that. We'll call it a div. That was. There we go. Maybe it just has to have this as part if you're going to change the color. Let's see about that. Okay, well, it's bigger now. It's odd. Let's try this. That's really weird. Sort of feels like it's proving my point though, that it's not super customizable. Except that this should be working. But white isn't an option. You can, I think you can do this. I feel like sometimes this has worked and sometimes it hasn't. To do this inline styling. Okay, yeah, that worked. It's not even close to the right size. Oh, I know, you can do like massive or something up here. Huge. So that's as big as that gets. See, we're already running into some issues. If you want it to look a certain way, it's like you have to play around with it a lot. And I could just mess with this. I could just say, like, okay, instead of size huge, let's just put size in here. And when you're doing inline like this, it's got to be camel case. Yeah, camel case. Because it is like JSX, right? Boom. But now we're just forcing it to be something it's not, and we might as well have just done it a different way, right? This can get really messy and you won't know who did what. Like, let's say Alan came in here and he did this, and then I'm like, how did he create that on that page? And like, it's not reusable. It's just very messy, but we're going to go ahead and do it anyway. So that's definitely the wrong size. How big? Maybe like half that. A little bit less. Yeah, that feels about right. Okay, and so now, what do we need? What would we call it? A card. They have like containers. Container. Yeah, I think that's what we want. Maybe. Let's try that here, because I want to move it away from the edges, like these other ones. I think these you can do padded. Something like that. Oh. Huh. I haven't tried to create a page that looks a certain way with only semantic. This is interesting. What would you do for like the whole thing? I would think a container, but it would need like some padding. Maybe a grid? Centered. Padded. All right, well, let's just play around with this. Let's do a grid. Gotta get it away from the edge. Trying stuff. Can a header be padded? I didn't look for that. Did we already try that?
Can you just do it like inside of the style, like where the color is? Or will it not work since it's not on the list of props?
No, I can inside of online 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that. But I was trying to find a way that isn't like that's just using semantic UI, if at all possible. You know, maybe a card and a card. I mean, I guess our whole page can be a card. Why not? Let's try that. I think this can be like card.container. Oh, it's something wrong. It's content. Giving up. Maybe that would look better in here. Oh wait, no, we want the whole thing to have. I want it to be as much as similar to these as possible. What did we do for that one? Oh, 30. That's why it looks wrong. See, this is how it ended up when we started with, you start with semantic and you're like, hooray, we can do all this stuff really fast. And then, Will come in and say, this is for your final project. He'll come in and he'll go, hey, well, these are the colors we want, and this is what we want the buttons to look like and all of that. And then you have to come in and either do this nonsense or like completely revert it to CSS or styled components. But if it doesn't have to look exactly a certain way, then this does work. Maybe what we could do is just, well, let's just keep going. So the next thing we wanted was some buttons. And wanted a primary button. Did that import it from the right place? Oh, it didn't at all. And just a regular button. See how those show up. Okay, wait. No. Is that how it just shows up with semantic? That looks like the buttons I made. Maybe I should have called them something else. I wonder if they're... But it's not importing it, so it shouldn't be able to use it. Hold on a second. What's happening here? Yeah, they just use the word button. Okay, whatever. And then you can just change it by possibly doing that. We can look it up. But I think you can like color. Okay. Interesting. I wonder if this is somehow messing stuff up.
I don't know if this would make a difference at all. When we were doing it in class, we had to do an import semantic UI CSS thing in the index.js to import some like base semantic stuff.
Maybe that might be it.
I can just grab the import thing real quick and throw it in code if you don't have it. Or throw it in the Zoom chat.
Oh, there it is. There we go. Okay. Okay, well, in that case, let's see what else. Let's see if this will work now. Yeah, okay. But it didn't say it took white, right? No, but you can do gray. That's going to be the closest, I think. And size. Is that's the huge size? Did I do that right? Because that is not very huge. Okay, header is H1. Maybe it should not be H1. Let's try that. Okay, cool. Well, see, these buttons do look nice. Does make things that look nice really quickly. Here, let's see. See if we can get it to be kind of similar. Yeah, those do similar things. That's what we've got going on here. I wonder if that's really the biggest header you can get on Semantic. That seems kind of funny. Guess that's what you get. All right, what did we have next? We've got a couple of buttons. Those look good. And then, oh, let me see if this will work now. Let's call it a segment. And I'm pretty sure you can pad segments. Oh, it's by 15. This should be black though. That didn't quite work, but that's okay. Okay, so this kind of works. Whoops. That scared me for a second. I was like, you guys are gonna see my previous searches. I'm like freaked out. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Semantic UI. No, I did have a moment of like, what have I searched for lately? Nothing bad, apparently. Okay. I wanted segment and I wanted to know, oh, if I could do a color. Well, it does say it's inverted. That's fun. Let's try this. Ooh, I have an idea. If this is inside of the segment and it's inverted, white. All right. I mean, I have to admit it does look better than what I created, but I could go in here and like make this font better and give these, you know, like you can go in and make them what you want them to be, but when you're just creating something quickly, this looks so nice, really fast. So that is nice. Okay, so we've got, I guess I should close out. Was that helpful? Do you guys see the 3 different ways of styling?
Yes. Will you like make a repo for this so I can pull it down?
Oh, sure. Yeah. All right, cool. I'm gonna end this video.